Hi viewers, this is Swami, Assistant Professor of Zoology. Today we are going to discuss the general characters and classification of subphylum Cephalochordata. The meaning of Cephalochordata is cephalo means head, cephalic region means head. Chorda is dorsal notochord, which is the fundamental feature of the chordates. Eta bearing animals. Those animals that bear dorsal notochord in the head region. So we should understand this term as those animals that have the dorsal notochord which is extended from posterior region to the anterior region up to the cephalic region. As there is no head, the dorsal notochord extended up to the oral funnel. That is the meaning of Cephalochordata. It is not at all confined to the head region. Notochord not at all confined to the head region, but it is extended from caudal region to the cephalic region, caudal region to the oral funnel. Thus, that represents the Cephalochordata. Those animals that bear dorsal notochord which is extended up to the cephalic region, which is extended up to the oral funnel, is the meaning of Cephalochordata. Let us see the general characters and the history regarding the cephalochordates. As there are 30 species in the subphylum Cephalochordata, all of them are living in the marine habitat, and the mode is free swimming animals. So they are habituated to live in marine environment, and all the organisms are free swimming animals. There are of about 30 species in the subphylum Cephalochordata. And the best example is the Amphioxus or Branchiostoma lanceolatus. Branchiostoma lanceolatus is the scientific name of the Amphioxus. Amphi means both the sides. That indicates both anterior and the posterior ends. Amphi. Both the ends which are looking like the axis, which are pointed, which both the ends, anterior and posterior ends, both of them, they end with the pointed tips. They end with the pointed tips. That is, the body of the individual, both in anterior and posterior region, it ends with the pointed tips, so that they are called as the Amphioxus. And the scientific name is Branchiostoma. Branchio in general, that is the gills or gill slits. Stoma means mouth region, oral region. Lanceolatus looks like the lancet. Both the tips, they are being pointed, so that they are called as the lancelets or lancet. Lanceolatus. Branchiostoma lanceolatus is the best example, commonly called as the Amphioxus. Here, the Amphioxus is of special interest since it exhibits characteristics of chordates in a simple condition. The body is very simple. The structural organization of the body of the Amphioxus is very simple. Although it exhibits all of the chordate characteristic feature, so that it grabs the interest of the scientist. It shows the special interest by the investigators. And it may be similar to some ancient ancestor of the vertebrates. So it looks like the ancestor of the vertebrates, ancient ancestor of the vertebrates. This is the introduction to the subphylum Cephalochordata. Then let us discuss the general characters of the subphylum Cephalochordata. All the animals are habituated to live in the marine environment. So the metabolic activities, they are adapted to live in the marine environment, and they are widely distributed in the shallow sea waters. They are distributed in the shallow waters of the ocean. And most of the animals, they are sedentary. Most of them are sedentary and buried their body with only anterior body end projecting above the bottom sand. Most of the animals, they are sedentary and buried with only anterior body end, and remaining body is projecting above the bottom sand. So they are not at all the fossorial mode of organisms, but in resting condition they are buried their body into the sand. Remaining portion will be exposed outside. And the size is very small. It is of about 5 to 8 centimeters in length. 5 to 8 centimeters long body they contain. And body is slender, pipe-like, slender, and it looks like the fish. Amphioxus or other cephalochordates, they looks like the fish, and body shows the metameric segmentation or metamerism. Body is divided into segments. Metameric segmentation or metamerism is shown, exhibited by the cephalochordates, and the body is transparent. So there are various peculiarities are seen in the body of the cephalochordates. Almost all body is very small and 5 to 8 centimeters long. It is very slender, and the structure of the body looks like the fish, and we will see the metamerism in the body, and the body is transparent. Body is transparent. So these are the peculiarities in the body structure of the cephalochordates. And the common name of the cephalochordates is lancelets. The common name of cephalochordates are commonly called as the lancelets because the structure of the body is like this. So both the ends, they end with the anterior and posterior end, they end with the tips, pointed tips, so that they are called as the lancelets. So as we know, the lancet which is used to prick while the blood grouping, or while we want to take some sort of blood, 1 to 2 drops of blood, we will use lancets. This is the lancet. So that they are looking like the lancets. So the cephalochordates, they are called as the lancelets. The body looks like the lancet, so that they are known as lancelets. And the most important feature here it is, head is absent. Head is absent. That is, although we will call them as the cephalochordates, distinct head is absent. So there are various organs like the oral funnel, okay, oral cirri and ciliary tentacles like that they are present, but distinct head is absent. This is the specialty of the cephalochordates. So although the head is absent, body is divided into trunk and as well as tail. As the head is absent, the remaining body is divided into two regions. The first and foremost anterior region is called as the trunk and followed by the tail. The posterior region, caudal region is called as the tail region. And one more specificity in the case of cephalochordates is paired appendages are absent. Whenever we see the primitive chordates like the fishes, we have the paired appendages. For example, paired fins. Paired fins, namely pectoral fins and as well as the pelvic fins. Such kind of fins are absent. Otherwise, if we observe highly developed vertebrates, chordates like amphibia, reptilia, aves and mammals, they also have paired appendages. That is, one pair of forelimbs, one pair of hind limbs. So here, whatever it may be the appendages, either the fins or the limbs, both kind of paired appendages are absent in the case of cephalochordata, but median fins present. Median fins present. Here see, the head is absent and paired appendages are also absent, but the median fins are present. Presence of median fins is seen in the case of cephalochordates. And one more interesting thing is exoskeleton is also absent. Exoskeleton is also absent. No exoskeleton, so that the body is almost all transparent. Body is almost all transparent. Epidermis is also a single layered membrane. Epidermis is single. A single layer of epidermis is present over the body surface. So these are some of the characters of the cephalochordata. So let us discuss some other. The muscles which are present in the body, they are dorsolaterally arranged. That is, muscles are present dorsal surface and the lateral surface. Dorsolaterally arranged muscles are present, and these are segmented into myotomes. They are segmented into myotomes. Especially in the case of cephalochordates, the metameric segmentation is highly seen, highly visible in the case of dorsolaterally arranged muscles, which are commonly called as the myotomes. There, segmentally arranged dorsolateral muscles are present. These are called as the myotomes. This is a specialty of the cephalochordates. So they look like the Z-shaped myotomes. Z-shaped myotomes. As we know, the coelom of all the chordates is the enterocoelic type of coelom. True coelom, enterocoelic type of coelom. What is the coelom actually? That is a space in between the integument and the alimentary canal. So based on the formation of the coelom, they are divided into schizocoelic coelom and the enterocoelic coelom. Here all the chordates, they possess enterocoelic kind of coelom. Although they have the enterocoelic coelom, it is almost all reduced in the pharyngeal region of the trunk. Pharyngeal region of the trunk, because there will be a development of the atrial cavity at the pharyngeal region. Then the rod-like persistent rod-like persistent extending from the rostrum to the tail region, hence it is cephalochordate. Here the notochord is rod-like as usually, and it is persistent from the rostrum to the tail. As we know, as we discussed in the beginning of the class, here cephalochordata means the notochord is not at all confined to the cephalic region. We should not understand like this. What we should understand is the notochord, which is rod-like and which shows the elasticity, it is almost all persistent. That is always present throughout the life of the cephalochordates, and it is extending from rostrum is, that is the anterior tip of the body is the rostrum. The rostrum is the anterior tip of the body, right from that region to tail region, caudal region, so that the notochord, which is extended from caudal region to cephalic region, or from rostrum to tail region, so that they are called as the cephalochordates. Hence they are called as the cephalochordates. So the name itself indicating the notochord is extended up to the cephalic region. That is, it is extended in between rostrum and the caudal region simply. Hence they are called as cephalochordates. Then coming to the digestive system, where digestive system is complete. What is the meaning of complete digestive system? That is, that starts with the mouth and ends with the anus. That is known as a complete alimentary canal or complete digestive tract. And pharynx is very large. We will see large pharynx, and it is perforated by many number of permanent gills or gill slits. Complete digestive tract is seen, complete alimentary canal is seen, pharynx is highly developed and enlarged, very large pharynx is seen, and the pharynx get perforated by number of persistent gill slits, and all of them they open into the atrium. So what are the specialties of the digestive system? Digestive system is complete, one thing. Another thing is pharynx is get enlarged and it is get perforated by pharyngeal gill slits which are persistent and many in number. Then all of these structures they open into the atrium. And here we should know, here there are many gill slits, but these gill slits are not at all useful for the respiration. Although cephalochordates have the gill slits, in most of the chordates the main function of the gill slits is the respiration only, bronchial respiration, aquatic respiration. But in the case of cephalochordates, although they have the gill slits, they are numerous in number, many number of gill slits are present, but they are not at all useful for the respiration. They do not act like the respiratory organs. Then what is the main function of the gill slits which are present in the pharyngeal cavity, pharyngeal region? That is, the main function of the gill slits is filter feeding. Filter feeding is the main objective, main function of the gills. So that is, what is the filter feeding? While the water flows through the gill slits, the water being filtered by the gill slits, and they capture the small granules and small organisms which are act like the food material for the cephalochordates, and they capture them. While the water going through the gill slits, they filter the entire water. They act like the sieves and filter the entire food material and capture, and by the food material they will live. That is the filter feeding. So this is the primitive kind of feeding mechanism. Primitive kind of feeding mechanism which is seen in the primitive chordates. So it is thought to be main kind of feeding mechanism in all the vertebrates, in all the chordates. Okay, so there are number of gills, but they are not at all act like the respiratory organs, but they are useful for the filter feeding mechanism. They filter the water and capture the food material. Such kind of mechanism is known as a filter feeding. Then coming to the another metabolic activity, that is the respiration. That is mutual exchange of the gases in between the organism and the ambient medium where actually the organism is living. That is the respiration. Just now we discussed that although there is a large pharynx and which get perforated by the numerous number of gill slits, although they are not at all useful for the respiration and they meant for the filter feeding, so that the respiration takes place through general body surface. Already we discussed that body is transparent and covered by a single layer of epidermis, so that through the process of diffusion, here the body surface acts like the main respiratory organ, and it acts like the required for the respiration, and no special organs like the gills. There are no special organs for the respiration process, and the respiration takes place only through the general body surface. So here we should remember that gill slits are there, but they are not useful for the respiration. They meant for the filter feeding, and the respiration takes place through the general body surface, and moreover there are no special kind of organs for the respiration. That we should remember. Then coming to the other system, that is the circulatory system. Here the circulatory system is highly developed. Well developed circulatory system is seen, and it is of closed type of circulatory system. As we discussed during the general characters of the chordates, in the primitive animals like the invertebrates, some of the invertebrates they have the open type of circulatory system. That is, instead of the blood vessels, the blood flows in the body sinuses. If the blood flows in the body sinuses, such kind of circulatory system is known as open type of circulatory system. But here the cephalochordates, they have highly developed circulatory system, and the system is closed type. If the blood flows in the definite blood channels, if the blood flows in the definite blood vessels, then such kind of circulatory system is known as closed type of circulatory system. And what are the specialties of the circulatory system of the cephalochordates is heart is absent. This is very, very important. Already we discussed that there is no distinct head. There is no distinct head. And there is no heart. There is no heart. And also there is no respiratory pigment. Respiratory pigment is also absent. Respiratory pigment is also absent. What are the specialties of circulatory system? Is they contain well developed circulatory system, and it is of closed type, and we may not see the heart and the respiratory pigment apart from the circulatory system. These are the specialties of the circulatory system. And another important factor is hepatic portal system is developed. What is the portal system? Is small minute capillaries from a particular organ, they fuse to form a large vessel, and this vessel reaches another organ, and that is again divided into small capillaries. That is, any vessel which is being formed by the fusion of various number of capillaries in a organ, and the vessel after reaching another organ is again bifurcated into small capillaries. So such a kind of system is known as a portal system. Portal system. In the chordates, in general, we may find out two kinds of portal systems, namely hepatic portal system and the renal portal system. Hepatic portal system and the renal portal system. Out of these two, cephalochordates, they possess hepatic portal system. They possess hepatic portal system. A well-developed hepatic portal system is seen in the case of cephalochordates. Then, next thing is excretion. As we know, the excretion is a metabolic activity where the metabolical wastages, otherwise the nitrogenous wastages which have been formed due to the various metabolic activities, they should be discharged from the body immediately. Such a kind of phenomena is known as the excretion. Here, the kidneys are also absent. Only we will see the protonephric nephridia. Protonephric nephridia with solenocytes. Protonephric nephridia with solenocytes are act like the excretory organs. No distinct kidneys are present. No distinct kidneys are present. Excretion is the elimination of nitrogenous wastages from the body of the animals which are formed as a result of various metabolic activities. That is excretion. It is done by the protonephric nephridia with solenocytes. Then come to the nerve cord, dorsal tubular nerve cord. It is located in the dorsal region, looks like a tubular structure, and they do not contain any kind of ganglia. There are no ganglia. There are no neural ganglia, and brain is also absent. No brain. There is a dorsal tubular nerve cord is there, but without ganglia and without the brain. Without ganglia and without the brain. But there are two nerve roots which are being separated from the dorsal nerve cord. They are dorsal and ventral nerve roots. Dorsal and ventral nerve roots, they are get separated from each other. They are separate. As we know, the dorsal notochord and dorsal tubular nerve cord, they are extended from caudal region to the rostrum, and they are persistent throughout the life. They are persistent throughout the life of the individual cephalochordates. Then coming to the reproductive system, these are unisexuals, or sexes are separate. Male and female organisms are separate, and many number of gonads are present. Many number of gonads are present, numerous gonads, and there will be a systematic arrangement of the gonads, where the arrangement of the gonads show the metamerism, segmentally arrangement, metamerically arranged, numerous gonads are present. So male gonads in the male organism, female gonads in the female organism, but they are metamerically arranged. And one more interesting thing in the case of reproductive system is gonoducts are absent. Gonoducts are absent. Gonads are present, but gonoducts are absent. That is, gonads, they directly release the gametes. They are not at all transferred from one region to the another region through the gonoducts. That is the meaning. Gonads are metamerically arranged, but gonoducts are absent. As usually, sexes are separate. Then, both the male and female organisms, they synthesize, develop the male and female gametes in their respective gonads, and the gonads are released outside without the help of the gonoducts, because as there are no gonoducts at all, both the organisms, both kinds of organisms, they release their respective gametes into the water, ocean water, and the fusion of pronuclei of both male and female gametes takes place in the water itself, ocean water itself, not in the female body, not in the body of the female individual. So that it is known as a external fertilization. External fertilization is seen in the case of cephalochordates, where the gametes are released outside into the water, and within the water itself, ocean water itself, fusion of pronuclei of male and female gametes takes place. That is known as the external fertilization, and the development is indirect. We will see the indirect development. In the life cycle of any organism, if you find out a larval stage in the life history, then that is known as the indirect development. In the process of indirect development, we will see the free swimming larval form of the cephalochordates. We will see the free swimming larval form in the life cycle of the cephalochordates. So these are the general characters of the cephalochordates. These are the general characters of the cephalochordates. So there are various specificities. When compared to the other organisms, there are various specificities. Head is absent, paired appendages are absent, exoskeleton is absent, and then special kind of respiratory organs are absent, and heart is absent, respiratory pigment is absent, brain is absent, neural ganglia are absent. All these are absent. It is a very simple form. It is a very, very simple form of chordates. Simple form of chordates. See, this is the body of a typical cephalochordate like the Amphioxus or Branchiostoma lanceolatus. Both the ends of the body. Why they are called as the Amphioxus? Both the ends of the body, they are ends with the pointed tips. They are ending with the pointed tips. And the structure is looking like the lancet. It is a pricking needle. So that is known as the lanceolatus. Branch, that is gills, stome, oral region. So in the oral region they have the gill slits, which looks like the lancet. So that they are called as the lancelets. And the body is transparent. And we will see the dorsolaterally arranged myonemes. So here we will see the lines, segments. So these are the dorsolaterally arranged muscle fibers or muscles. They are known as the myotomes. They are known as the myotomes. And then let us see the various parts of the body of a typical cephalochordate like the Amphioxus. This is the anterior portion of the body and this is the posterior portion of the body. So the posterior end with the caudal fin or the tail region. So what is the tail? Actually the portion which is located after the anus is known as the tail region. So that is defined in the chordates. See here, the oral hood is nothing but the rostrum. Oral hood is nothing but the rostrum, anterior tip of the body of the cephalochordates. And here we will see the tentacles. We will see the tentacles. And the ventral surface of the body in the pharyngeal region shows many folds. They are known as the metapleural folds. They are known as metapleural folds. As we know, so here this is the pharyngeal region. Many number of gill slits are present. The pharynx is very large, enlarged, and covered by the atrium. Atrium opens out through the atriopore. Atrium opens out through the atriopore. And here we will see median ventral fin and the median dorsal fin, as there are no paired fins. Paired fins are absent in the case of cephalochordates. Only median fins are present. Here it is the median dorsal fin, that is the median fin present in the dorsal region, and it is a median ventral fin. One ventral fin present in the median ventral fin present in the ventral region, and as well caudal fin is there, but there are no pectoral fins, there are no pelvic fins. Paired fins are absent. And here we will see metamerically arranged myotomes. These are the lines which represents the myotomes. And dorsal nerve cord, which is looking like the pigmented structure. Small dark spots are present, that represents the nerve tube, this is a neural tube, and just below that there is a notochord. So here the fundamental features of all the chordates, 4 fundamental features: dorsal notochord, dorsal tubular nerve cord, and the pharyngeal gill slits, and the tail, post-anal tail. All of them, they have been seen in the case of cephalochordates. And one more thing here, liver is there, hepatic portal system is there, and digestive system is complete, and here we will see intestine. So these are the some of the body parts of the cephalochordates. Body parts of the cephalochordates. Let us see. Here we will clearly see the anterior portion of the body of the Amphioxus or cephalochordate. Here the body is covered by a single layer of epithelium or epidermis. Single layer of epidermis. And here we will see dorsal notochord, right? And this is the oral funnel, and the oral funnel covered by the ciliary tentacles, ciliary structures, and here there are many number of gill slits. Many number of gill slits. So this is the clear view of the anterior portion of the Amphioxus, otherwise any cephalochordate. So these are the metapleural folds, and just inside this region we will find out. So the upper portion is that represents by the Z-shaped myotomes. Just below that myotomes we may see the gill slits. So these gill slits are present in the pharyngeal region. So pharyngeal region is almost all enlarged and perforated by the gill slits. Numerous gill slits are present in the pharyngeal region, but they are not at all useful for the respiration, but they meant for the filter feeding mechanism. See, this is the Amphioxus. Here we will see one by one. Here this is the anterior tip is the rostrum, and here it is the oral funnel, and this is the oral cirri, small ciliary tentacle like structures. Okay, and here these structures are myotomes, segmentally arranged myotomes. Segmentally arranged myotomes. And here just below the myotomes we will observe white granular structures. White granular structures. So these all are metamerically arranged gonads. These are metamerically arranged gonads. And there are no gonoducts at all. Gonoducts are absent. Gonoducts are absent. Right? Then what we may see, all these ventral folds are the metapleural folds. Metapleural folds. These all are the metapleural folds. And here we will observe the atriopore. Okay. And followed by the anus. And the posterior portion of the anus is the tail region. And tail region supported by a caudal fin. So this small thin layer is a caudal fin, because paired fins are absent. Only dorsal, median dorsal fin, medial ventral fin are present. Median dorsal fin and median ventral fins are present. So this is all the visible structures, because the entire body of the animal is almost all transparent. Entire body is almost all transparent. Then come to the classification of the subphylum Cephalochordata. Already we discussed that there are of about 30 species and 2 genus. 30 species and 2 genus are present in the subphylum Cephalochordata. And all these organisms whichever to be included under the subphylum Cephalochordata, they are grouped under a single class. They are grouped under a single class, that is the Cephalochorda. Subphylum, phylum is the chordata, subphylum is the Cephalochordata. Under the Cephalochordata, only one class is there, that is Cephalochorda. Of about 2 genus and 30 species are present. 2 genus and the 30 species are present. So this is the Branchiostoma lanceolatus or Amphioxus. Branchiostoma lanceolatus or Amphioxus. So here we will see, observe, this is the rostrum, is a oral funnel and oral cirri, and these are the gill slits. The entire white region is a pharynx, right? And these are the metapleural folds, and these are the gonads. See, the blue one is the dorsal nerve cord, and red one is the dorsal notochord, and this is alimentary canal, which is very complete. This is the tail region supported by the caudal fin. So this is the ventral fin, and this is the dorsal fin. So this is all about the a typical cephalochordate, that is a Branchiostoma lanceolatus. Another example for this Cephalochorda class is Acimetron. It also exhibiting the transparent body, the rostrum, and the oral funnel, cirri, metametrically arranged segmented muscles, and the gonads. See here, this is the tail region. This is the Acimetron. There are only 2 genus. One is the Amphioxus, another one is the Acimetron. These are the 2 best examples of the class Cephalochorda, subphylum Cephalochordata. Subphylum Cephalochordata. Then this is also one more image related to the asymmetron. And affinities of the cephalochordates, although they are grouped under the protochordata. In the 18th century, Pallas was a scientist who observed the characteristic features of the cephalochordates, and he thought that this was a slug and grouped them under the phylum Mollusca class Gastropoda. He included them under the phylum Mollusca class Gastropoda because of its body structure. And after the investigation, there are various evidences that the organisms to be regarded as the chordates. So what are the chordate characters? Basically, dorsal notochord, dorsal tubular nerve cord, and the pharyngeal gill slits and the tail region. So by observing all these characteristic features of the chordates, they included them as a lowliest order of the fishes. In the class fishes, they are grouped them as a special order, distinct order. Then there are various specialties where we have discussed previously. The animals, they are without skull, without brain, and there are no auditory organs. Paired eyes are absent, paired kidneys are absent, but they have a pharynx which is surrounded by a atrium. Then thereby they separated them from the fishes because the presence of atrium and the pharynx surrounded by atrium, these all are the related things to the tunicates, that is to the urochordates, so that they have taken out from the fishes again. There is a close resemblance of these organisms with the urochordates. In various fundamental points, they show the resemblance with the urochordates. That is, in the formation of notochord, formation of nerve cord, and the presence of endostyle. Endostyle is an epipharyngeal groove which is the homologous structure to the vertebrate's thyroid gland. That is a specialty of the endostyle. And presence of the peripharyngeal bands which are meant for the filter feeding. And filter feeding is basically found in Enteronusta, this is the class of Hemichordata, Ammocetus larva of the Petromyzon, that is a cyclostome, and some of the larvae of the amphibians, they have the filter feeding mechanism. Filter feeding mechanism. So these all are the similarities with that of the urochordates. Similarities with that of the urochordates. And if you observe the Larvaceae of the urochordata, we may also observe the pedomorphosis. So this pedomorphosis maybe could have produced the higher chordates. So this is the primitive chordate, urochordates. So while we are discussing the Larvaceae, they exhibit the pedomorphosis. So this pedomorphosis that results in the changes in the position of gill slits and other organs that occur during the metamorphosis. So they have the indirect development, they show the free swimming larva while metamorphosis going on. So there should be a change in the gill slits and the other organs. Amphioxus may be a specialized and degenerate descendant of the Anatha. Some of the scientists, they thought that. What are the specializations? Multiplication of gill slits and myotomes or myomeres and the asymmetry and the complicated larval history. These all are the specialties of the Amphioxus. And what may be the loss that had been happened to the degeneration of the animal is simplification of the brain, absence of eyes and optic capsules, absence of exoskeleton and absence of gonoducts. These are the degeneration loss that could happen to the organism, and the evidences are still insufficient to group these organisms under the protochordata, that is Acraniata, but the investigators, they are trying to bring them nearer to the Craniata. Although there is no skull at all, so some sort of features are looks like the fish, so that they are trying to bring them nearer to the Craniata. Amphioxus and its allies resemble fish-like creatures that existed during the Silurian period. That the modern fishes of today, they might have evolved from the animals of the same kind during the Silurian period. So these all are the general characters and the classification of the subphylum Cephalochordata and the specialities of the Cephalochordata. Thank you one and all.